Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coach's Corner. Let me get my applause. Can you everyone just clap here until I find the sound effects, please? Yeah, there we go. Welcome to Coach's Corner. Notice we are 4 strong today. Welcome back, Paul. Always great to have you, and always great to be here with my amazing colleagues. And we're tapping in further into other chapters of that very powerful book, U Squared. Extremely powerful book that, wow, it just basically reveals a lot that's already within you, and it's funny I say that because you have, just unlimited potential. And we love sharing this knowledge. So let's get the show on the road. My name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified mindset success coach / business consultant, trained by the legend Bob Proctor. And I'm the founder of Believe in the Unseen Consulting. It's basically about believing in the unseen, believing in that goal, believing in that whatever it is that you want to achieve. And I help hardworking but unfulfilled professionals who know they're capable of more, yet they feel stuck in a cycle of effort without progress or lacking clarity or direction and the subconscious programming needed to create the income, freedom, and life they truly desire. So it's all about revealing, the potential that's already there. I'm in the Maryland area. It's holiday weekend here in the States, and I pass it to my awesome colleague, Paul.
Thank you very much, Jamel, and happy Memorial Day weekend to my friends in the U.S. My name is Paul Wooters. I am a Proctor Gallagher consultant, success mindset mentor, and the head of the Leadership and Development Department at the World Life Education Center and High School in Oakville, Ontario. And I'm dedicated to helping individuals unlock their full inner potential, like through mindset training and self-leadership. I guide individuals to take ownership of their learning, of their growth, of who they want to be, of what type of life they want to design for themselves, to build the confidence and shape a meaningful future from the inside out, and to design their future with intention. And as I like to say, to help them live to their greatest possibilities. And I'm going to pass this over to my friend and colleague, Lou.
Thank you, Paul. Hi, everyone, and happy Memorial Day weekend to those of us in the States. So my name is Lou Perica. I am a success mindset mentor and speaker, and I am the founder of Prosperous Results. And I work with growth-minded women, and many of them may be in a transition in their life, and they just feel like there's more to them. They want more success or more fulfillment or more alignment in their life, but something just isn't clicking. And they're doing all the right things on the outside, but they're not seeing the results that they truly want. And that can leave people feeling very frustrated and confused. So, what I help them do is understand what's actually driving their current results, how their thoughts, their interpretations, their feelings, and their patterns are influencing everything. And once they start to see that, things start to shift in a very real and lasting way. And I'm excited to be continuing with U Square because we are talking about exponential improvement. And it's such a great book to piggyback off the universal laws. So I'm looking forward to diving more deeper into this with my colleagues. And I am going to pass it on to my friend and colleague, Alicia.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Lou and Paul and Janelle. My name is Alicia Espinosa. I am a certified coach and I am based in Sweden. And I help people that, they have everything. They have the title, they have the house, the car, everything. What is the society says that this person is so successful, but still they are empty inside. So I help people to create a life that feels good on the inside, not just looks good from the outside. And I also help leaders to be a leader worth following. Thank you.
Yay.
Let's get started.
Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, these sessions are so good. I have to mention, for those that are live, hello to everyone that's here live with us. Hopefully you have an amazing weekend, an amazing day. And these sessions, we all say this, they always shift our vibration. And vibration is everything, right? Vibration is so important to our results and our future. And, I always like to keep a high vibration because I know what it's doing. It's shaping things. And to dive into this, you feel a vibration when you read this material. And we're not just here to sell books and knowledge. We're here to shift your internal self so you can attract and manifest and grow into the infinite being that you are. And vibration and laughter are essential, right? Laughter is an expression of vibration. And there's nothing that rests in nature. Everything moves constantly. And having a high vibration, even smiling, is an expression of the internal self. So it's all connected to spirit. And we're going to kind of dive in here. So we left off, if you missed last week's, it's our favorite, the story of the fly. We talked about that, right? We went into the promise, right? And now we're tapping into quantum leaps. Quantum leaps. Quantum leaps. It sounds very spacey, right? And physics and stuff like that. Actually, there's quantum physics. But what's interesting about this, I'm just looking at this little quote. They take a little excerpt out of it. And it says, to put it simply, as human beings, we are going to have to reframe our ideas about the universe and how we fit into it. It just takes out a little part there, right? So this is the gain and understanding of this beautiful universe that you're a part of, and understand oneself as well. So this reminds me a lot of what Bob said and many other teachers mentioned, that we are three-part beings, right? We are a spirit, we're spiritual beings, we have an intellect, right? Our conscious mind and knowledge, and we live in a physical body. And we operate on all three different planes. So it says, to put it simply, as human beings, we're going to have to reframe our ideas. Where do ideas come from, right? Where do ideas come from? They're unseen, right? Ideas are unseen. That's, why you must believe in the unseen, because that's where everything starts, with your imagination. Everything's created twice, once in the unseen and then in your material world. So reframe your ideas. A lot of people have ideas that don't serve them, and they're creating things they don't want, and don't realize that they've been using these mental muscles for so long in a negative way, and you can use it in a positive way and create what you want. I'm doing it right now. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and I'm improving it as well. So the first sentence here, quantum leap is a term taken from the vocabulary of quantum physics. So the science behind such technological breakthroughs as lasers, computers, space communication, and nuclear energy. So quantum physics is described as the most powerful science ever conceived by human beings. Listen to that. It requires a major rethinking of such concepts as time and space and how human consciousness operates. Wow, we can do a whole hour on this particular subject, but I'll pass it on to whoever wants to dive into this beautiful knowledge.
Thank you, Jamel. Yeah, so the author, what he's doing is challenging a common belief that our success happens slowly, right, step by step, which is what most people think, and people are operating under the assumption that growth is gradual. Prove a little, then a little more, and eventually you reach this higher level. But he's saying that this is actually limiting our potential, and he's introducing this idea of quantum leaps, like borrowing this, using it as a metaphor, like borrowing it from quantum physics. That means making this really explosive jump from one level of performance to another without having to climb every intermediate step. And that major breakthroughs often happen not from working harder, but from thinking differently. And we talked about it all the time and Bob taught us this too, about our own paradigms, how our own paradigms, dictate how actions and our thinking and what we think we can do. So, it's about doing things maybe differently, not about necessarily that they have to be harder or that we have to work harder, but maybe just a different way of thinking and of doing things. But that starts internally, right, with our own thinking and what our paradigms and our limiting beliefs really are. Lou.
Thank you. Yeah, so quantum leaps, when I first heard about quantum leaps, this threw me for a loop because I was from the old thinking that everything had to be done incrementally. So learning that a person can go from point A to point Z, I didn't understand it till I really got into this material and started studying it. But just like what Paul and Jamel were saying, it's an explosive jump. And Jamel mentioned something. Jamel mentioned that everything vibrates. But we also talk on Coach's Corner about taking baby steps, right? And this isn't necessarily saying that you're going to go from this action to another action, but what it's saying is mentally, your ideas and your thoughts can go from point A to point Z with using your imagination. And that vibration now sets up your internal system, your internal operating system to start taking action. Well, Paul and I mentioned many times it's about taking baby steps because sometimes you can't go from point A to point Z in one jump. You do have to physically maybe take smaller steps. But how I interpret this information, but mentally you can have an explosive jump. And when that happens, when you start to see yourself as a new version of yourself or an elevated version of yourself, this now gets in touch with your nervous system, where you get the courage to start taking bigger and different actions than you normally would have. So I think first of all, it starts in the imagination where you can have an explosive jump. And then that sets up the nervous system to start taking the physical action towards whatever it is that you want to achieve. Because our identity, our goal really should or gets to be, I want to be careful of the word I use, right? Our goal gets to be our new identity. And we start operating from that new identity of the goal already achieved. So mentally and emotionally, we can have these quantum leaps, and then the body will follow, and then directions, new ideas, new thoughts, new resources start to come to you. And this is what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago with the universal laws. That's why I think this was such a great book to piggyback off of that. Alicia.
Yeah, I was thinking about what Paul say about the thinking differently. And because to get this quantum leap, we need new assumptions and new standards and new decisions, new identity, and different actions. But if I was in having a coaching with a client, and he was telling me that, yeah, but this is who I am. And I asked him, okay, so I understand that. When did you decide that you was that person? And he goes, what do you mean? So, yeah, when you decide? It was when you were born, and the nurse look at you, or the doctors when they pick up from your mother, stomach, and say, yeah, but that person will be that type of person. And he was like, yeah, but I have some principles, and I am very principled, and I want things to be like that. Yeah, and this is the thing, that when we have principles or values that we make them as a rule, everything should be like this, then instead of those values helping us, they stop the growing for us, the growth that we want, because we see the world through that lens, and we want always to be like that. For me, it was, for example, time. For me, it was a rule. It's like, it should be like this time, and everybody should respect time on everybody. And that created a feeling for me that wasn't so good. I created stress for me. So I needed to rearrange my value about time and not making that a rule. So I am still very rigid about my time, but I am more flexible than I was like 10 years ago. I was like, oh, if we say 8 o'clock, it should be 8 o'clock, not 1 hour, So I was creating that stress for myself. Yeah. So when we do our values to our rules, we stop ourselves in our growth. And so that we need to think about. And instead, I ask my clients, so I know that you have those rules, those principles, but what about if you make some standards instead? Standards of integrity, like, I want to be that person that can do this and this and this. So it need to create a shift in how he think about himself, and new assumptions, new standards, and also because then he need to make new decisions based on that. But it's so difficult for people to try to change, or not try. If you want to do this quantum leap, you need to change the way you think you are and create a new identity. Because I asked him, this client, when this way of thinking about yourself is helping you, and where it's not helping you, and are they helping to the place you want to be? Because it's not, then you need to rearrange how you think about yourself. And that is a big issue for many. Don't want to change their self. Yeah. And not the self, the way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's do two. And that's for everybody. Yeah, I smile with joy because in the intro, I knew this particular chapter would, it's a very important topic, right? And especially if you desire tremendous growth. And tremendous is a matter of perception. You're absolutely right. And here's my co-host here as well.
Oh,
Say,
oh, she adorable.
she has
Oh
her
my
fancy
God.
ears.
Look at how precious she is. That is so funny.
This is why I was smiling in the beginning, because it was amazing. We all are amazing. And it's interesting, when you're growing up as a child, it's going to be the most entertaining session ever. When you're growing up as a child, you have, here's my stick person, right, Layla? This is your conscious and this is your subconscious. So when you're a child, you usually don't have a conscious because everything that's happening outside of you is going right into your subconscious and creating who you believe yourself to be. And also it ties into quantum leaps. Who am I? Who am I?
Daddy.
Yes, right. Daddy. Right? But I'm not my name. Right? If I said your name one time in your entire life, would you remember it? Right? I'm not my body. Oh, hey, you want to hold it? So what am I? Right? And I remember Bob saying this a lot. Who am I? You are who you believe yourself to be. And this is a major concept when you talk about quantum leaps. Basically what Alicia, all of us are sharing. You hold on to, oh, thank you, my little stick person pen. Thank you. So you believe that you're limiting yourself. We are the beginning and the end. So we're the only problem and the only solution. And it always results to our thinking and our belief system. So to think we need to go from here to there, you're already thinking there is separate from here. If you really think about that. And this is how quantum leaps happen. They happen internally. They really do. There's no effort to do it. You make a decision to become it. And this is the big issue where people they don't make a decision. They go back and forth and back to their old ways and don't believe in the process. You have to embody the essence of who you choose to be, the person with the goal achiever. And that's why we were talking about goals and stuff like that. But you basically become that version of you, regardless of the outside. The outside will always match the inside. That's why I was saying I'm not my name. I'm not this body. My mind is the center of divine operation. I choose who I want to be. I actually accept it and I embody it and I get emotionally involved in it. And this is a process, right? It's kind of, I wouldn't say reverse thinking, but we kind of have to let go of a lot of these beliefs that have been holding us back. If you're holding on to the version of you that you've been your whole life and you want a quantum leap, you have to really be reflective on your beliefs and reevaluate what's there deep seated in your subconscious. I guess she had an earful. So it says here, the explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. So this is when you're getting into the science of it. Well, we have the props today, don't we? So it's the explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. So I love chemistry, I love physics, I love all science. So it says, in a figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking a risk. right? And when we take a risk, we're facing fear of the unknown, right? Right, my friend? Fear of the unknown. So you're breaking through a wall that you don't know what's on the other side. I told you it's going to be the most entertaining. So, and he also says, you're going off into an uncharted territory with no guide to follow. No guide. You know who the guide is? Faith. Believing, knowing that you have a vision, faith, gratitude, and you're doing it in a certain way. So in a figurative sense, it says taking the quantum leap means taking a risk. And you'll have to face fear to break through that limiting belief. Did you want to share what the senses are before we pass it on? Go ahead, say it. What are these?
See, hear, smell, taste, and touch.
Awesome. Excellent job. Good job. So I'll pass it on to whoever wants to jump on that one as well.
Yeah, so I'll say, Jamel, very good. And I'm going to underscore a little bit of what everyone said here, that the breakthroughs, I think he's saying, breakthroughs aren't linear necessarily, that they can appear, new results can appear suddenly after a shift in mindset or action, as Alicia was saying, right? Rather than slow, visible progress. And that quantum leaps happen when you stop trying to improve your current level and instead move into or shift into a new level of thinking, right? A different way of thinking and performing. And so then your results will appear just suddenly. Different things will suddenly appear that you hadn't seen before. Lou?
And I wanted to, so here in the States, we are coming up on our 250th year celebration of independence. And in here, there's a quote, the explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In a figurative sense, taking the quantum leap means taking risks. This is what Jamel was just saying, and going off into uncharted territory with no guide to follow. So think about the pilgrims. What drove them to go into uncharted territory, to face the unknown, famine, disease, weather? They knew nothing. What drove them to take that risk? And it was the feeling and the thought and the vision of freedom, of independence. Those are emotional connections. And also the willingness to do what was necessary. But look at this country today. In a short 250 years, look what this country has created. There were quantum leaps happening all throughout these 250 years. So when I read that quote, taken out of a book called Taking the Quantum Leap, I can't help but think of what this country has created in 250 years. It's relatively such a short period of time from once they came here, the pilgrims came here, to what we have today. And that was all by taking risks. And because they were so passionate, so emotionally driven to what they wanted to achieve, to their goals, resources appeared. New connections with other people appeared. Business appeared, the Industrial Revolution, et cetera, et cetera. But that was all done within a short period of 250 years. And those are actually quantum leaps. Again, look at how far this country has come from what they faced. But everyone, there's 8 billion people on Earth. Even though there's a lot of overlapping similarities, everyone is living their own reality. Every person is living their very own reality. So parallel realities. So again, just like Alicia was saying with her client, when you were born, did the doctor say, poof, this is who you are? No, this was over, decades of conditioning. So without that conditioning, who can you be? And this is where the conditioning comes in, because that conditioning is limiting us from thinking bigger, because our conditioning has a lens on how we view the world and how we view our own reality. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's reality. Your reality. It's my reality. But Steve Jobs, he saw and thought through a different lens. Elon Musk sees and perceives through a different lens. But they're all possible. So I just wanted to bring that up, because when I saw that it was 250-year celebration, I thought, wow, that seems like such a short period of time when you think about it, where we are today. So just wanted to share that. Alicia, did you want to?
I was thinking about the reality and the lens on how we see the world. I have yesterday or the Friday a workshop with a team. There are like 30 people there, and we were doing an exercise about communication, because you know how it is in teams. You always have the right thing, and the other are a little bit crazy that they not understand what you say or how you want they to perceive what you want they to do. So we were doing that, and they say, oh my gosh, this is so difficult, because I would explain it to this person about how they needed to draw something, and the one needed to explain to the other, and they were sitting, the other was sitting behind and trying to explain what they need to draw, and one say, yeah, but if you told me that this was a rhomb, then I will draw that. And I said, this is the thing, that we want use the language that we use, and we want to expect the other people to understand that. And this is the thing, when you have a goal and a dream, people will not understand that. But because we have a pressure from the society, or we let that pressure that it should be like this, it should be like this. Sometimes it's not the real, that we think that we should be like this. And it's why we don't take risk, because we think that we break rules from this society if we go the other way. And it's why we sometimes have dreams that we don't go for, because we think, but what they are going to say if I do this, instead of just go with what you want and create that identity. And it should be, for example, if you have an old identity, it's like, I'm trying to build a business. No, you are not trying. You lead a business, and then you need to shift that thinking, so that instead of, if you will show up differently if you say, I'm trying to build a business and I lead in a business. You're going to show up differently, because if you lead a business, it's like, okay, this is my business, and I'm trying to build that. It's more like, something that you do when you feel like doing that. And so in order to give this, to create the quantum leap, you change the identity based on what you really, really want. And because also it will tell you what you are tolerating and what are the actions that you are taking. So I think that, we need to listen to people to get feedback, but not to listen too much, that you will not take this risk of going to somewhere. And I have an example. Yesterday, I am here in the north of Sweden where I'm doing coaching, and normally I go home every weekend. But this weekend I stay here, and then I decided yesterday, it was so beautiful weather, that I wanted to go to a lake. But it is about 12 kilometers from here, walking. And I asked at the hotel, how do I come to this place? And the person told me like, oh my gosh, but it's so far away. Yeah, okay. But how can I go there? So I went in the morning and I came back 5 hours later. I was to the lake. It took 25 kilometers. But always I go there and I don't really know. And the GPS was showing wrong. So I need to ask all the time people like, how I'm going there? You can do, but it's so far away. All the time. But I was decided that I wanted to see the lake. So if I listen to other people, I will not see the lake. So go ahead and see your lake, I think.
I love it. I love it.
I normally say dance even if other people don't want to dance.
Of course.
Don't give up your dance.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't give up your dance. I love that. And go see your lake. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's so good because it's who you believe yourself to be, right? And quantum leaps, they defy logic. It doesn't make sense, right? We try to figure out all this stuff with our knowledge, and I love what you said there, Alicia. Like, we get all this education and knowledge from our 5 senses, our outside world and other people, and we have these beliefs and we don't go see our lake. Oh, it's far away. You hear that, and you're just letting it go right into your subconscious. So you're believing in their belief in the distance of your journey. That's insane. All right. So you want to let go of logic, and it's tough for a lot of people because it's, people get afraid to do that, to let go of the logic side of it and believe in that dream and whatever it is that you want to achieve. And I like how you're basically expressing what Neville calls inner speech or inner dialogue, right? Instead of saying, I'm trying to improve my life, or I'm trying to run a business, like Alicia said, or I'm trying to do better, right? I'm trying to make more money. I'm trying. Listen to that word, try. My clients know I catch them so fast when they say that word. Because we've been conditioned to say try for so long. And I know even in some languages, the word try doesn't even exist. So you either are or you're not, right? Try is it's a word that strengthens your limiting self. It comes from your paradigm, and it wants you to remain where you are, comfortable. And it sounds good. Hey, I'm trying. No, I am a successful business owner. I run a successful business. I am more than worthy. I am very intelligent. I am creative. You hear the difference and you feel the difference, don't you? So there's no try. Either you are or you're not. And I would love what you said, Lou, about the pilgrims and how quantum leaps, they've been around in humanity for as long as we've probably been here on the planet, right? With the dinosaurs, right? So quantum leaps have been here and you can see them. Doesn't that tell you that you are capable of having quantum leaps as well? Don't diminish your light. Don't. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let your light shine, right? So, and, to kind of close this chapter, because I know we kind of been, hammering home here with quantum leaps, but I wanted to talk about time. Paul brought up some great things about time because we see things linear. And trust me, I had to go down the rabbit hole to understand time. And I'll give you just 2 more minutes of this topic because you can get really in depth, but time is an illusion. We see things as a line, right? A timeline. Oh, this happens, then that happens, and then this happens, and then that happens. And in my studies, in my experience, through years of study, time, everything is happening now. And I know Bob always says, he's saying it right now, he says, nothing's never created or destroyed. And Neville says, creation is finished. So whatever quantum leap you desire, it's here now waiting for you to be aware and match the frequency of it. So I always like this example. I think I read it in a book. If you want to know what book that is, you can reach out to me. And speaking of reaching out, you can reach out to any consultant here, anybody here to help you with this knowledge. Our call links are in the comments or in the description of the post, or just reach out and message us. But it said, think of time as like either a DVD, right? Where on the DVD, the beginning and the end of the movie, every scene is all on that disc. It's just all of it. The whole time frame of the movie is on one physical thing. And you can go to different places within the movie with a push of a button. So it said, look at time in that way, in that sense. Like everything that you want is available right now. It's just a matter of making a choice, a decision, or awareness of it. Don't doubt this, because you'll do yourself a disservice by doubting it. And lastly, they mentioned, and I thought I'll put on glasses to match my colleagues here. Paul took his off, but we're good. And he says, physicists studying quantum mechanics note that particles make these jumps, so-called jumps, without apparent effort and without covering all the bases between the starting and ending points. So they see these particles go from here way over there without even trying. It was being. And then he says, what's going on here? How does this happen? And is it possible for you as an individual to do something very similar in your personal performance? Absolutely. Without a doubt. And you see them all the time. And look at the advances of humanity. Look at the architecture, like the buildings and technology, right? AI is insane now, right? So look at these advances, robotics, environmental advances, not just, in one country, the entire world. We all have been here on this planet. We've been blessed with many years, and we've seen things from when we were kids all the way to now. It's crazy. And you're a part of that if you decide to. So I'll stop there.
Should we jump into the chapter or the lesson U square, which is actually what we're talking about throughout the whole thing. But I just wanted to touch upon, Jamel, what you were just talking about, So all of these coaches' corners, this is what we're here for. We're really here to help not only ourselves, but to bring to others, to serve others as well, is to expand your awareness. So just like Jamel was saying with technology, the buildings, the hotels, they always existed. It's just that the human was not aware of it at that time. So the car always existed. We are not aware of what technology and what buildings will look like maybe 1,000 years from now, 500 years from now, 100 years from now. We're not aware, but the possibility exists. And so this is what this is all about, is what U Square is really bringing awareness to the individual to help us understand what is really possible. We don't really know what we're capable of yet. I am that I am. I love that. And I was writing about that, Aaron. I have here on my notes, I am the way. So when Jamel was saying try, it's like I am, or I will be, or I was. Which one has the strongest vibration? I am is undefined consciousness. So you are making a declaration. So this is why it's very important to be mindful of the words you put after that, right? So as Aaron was saying, I am that I am. Absolutely. So I am that you are declaring, and that I am is the affirmation. So thank you for bringing that up. But I just wanted to bring that, what was I saying? The potential of the potential realities all exist at the same time, just like TV channels, radio stations. So when I'm at the gym and I'm on a treadmill and they have 25 TVs in front of me, each one is playing some sort of different reality. Those TV screens, imagine 8 billion of them, because they're all different realities. But if I only focus on one, that's what I'm going to focus. That's what I get drawn into when my attention goes. But it doesn't eliminate all the other realities and possibilities that are existing the same time. So this is what U Square is about. There's so much more to you. 2 squares 4, 4 squares 16, but U Square, no one has that answer. So I just wanted to bring that into our next chapter of the title is U Square. Paul?
Yeah, thank you, Lou. So yeah, the chapter that we just finished, I think, was really laying the foundation for the rest of the book, because it's encouraging, the reader, it's encouraging you to believe that extraordinary transformation is possible. Not eventually, but potentially much sooner than you think. And Aaron also made a great comment about self-image. This has a lot to do about self-image, who we think we are, what we think we can or cannot do, all those limiting beliefs that, as Alicia said, when you're a baby, like, what was your potential? Like, you weren't labeled, this is who you were given a name, as Jamel said, but that's just the baby's name. It could be called anything. But that's not who you are. It doesn't define who you are. And it's all those beliefs and all those paradigms that you have formed over time. And so the next chapter that we're getting into is the U Squared. And again, the author is, again, challenging that common belief that success has to happen slowly, step by step, but introducing the idea of these quantum leaps, borrowed from quantum physics, as Jamel was saying, making explosive jumps from one level to another. But, we have the idea in this chapter is that, people really settle for incremental improvement because that feels safe. It feels more reasonable. But, the author is saying that this extraordinary achievement requires, releasing the need for gradual progress and really becoming willing to leap beyond your current limitations. Again, that has a lot to do with self-image, and that has a lot to do with what we help individuals with is your self-image. It's a huge component. And the author here, Pritchett, is encouraging us to stop identifying with the present results that we're seeing, because that's the result of our past thinking, and instead seeing ourselves as capable of exponential growth, right? You have to think beyond those conventional limits, stop relying just on logic and our past patterns, pursue these breakthroughs instead of small gains, and believe that dramatic change is possible right now, not someday or maybe. So it's just an invitation, stop playing small. The concept of U squared is about, multiplying your effectiveness, multiplying your confidence, your creativity, and the results, and just not simply by improving them, slightly or incrementally. Alicia.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much, so I don't know where to start. I was thinking just what Lou say about the television and the radio, because they are there. We just need to tune to that frequency of what we really want to see. If I want to see CNN, I cannot be in the frequency of the BBC. So we need to make a conscious decision that I will change that frequency. And it's like Aaron say, is asking self what I want. And not only what I want, what I really, really, really want, because it will cause you to make changes in the who I am, the being. Who do I need to be in order to tune in the CNN frequency? Yeah, I need to, tell my friend that I don't like BBC, and it's okay if he or she likes BBC, but I am on my own way. And this is the thing that sometimes we don't want to disappoint people. And people will always say, yeah, but are you going to listen to CNN? Why not BBC? I'm trying to convince you that is the better. But you need to stay and think what I really, really want. So that is the things that I was thinking about.
Wow. Yeah, I knew this will be an amazing session. This is so much. So he starts off here. He says, most people operate with a mindset that assumes success comes one step at a time. So most of us believe this, right? We have this belief. The unspoken but popular notion is that we must move systematically from our present level of achievement to the next. Then the thinking goes, from that stage, we can begin working toward graduating to still the next higher level in the sequence. Gradual progress. So majority of people, operate like this for probably their entire lives. And you don't have to operate like this anymore. You don't. And this whole session, actually every Coach's Corner, is to really give you some type of insight to reevaluate these beliefs that hold you back. So he continues, this is an unfortunate misconception. And it's clearly reflected in the way people function. They go about day to day striving to make incremental gains in their performance. That's pretty routine. That's the pathway of conventional growth. But your life simply does not always have to operate that way. So if you've been operating that way for a long time, I'm pretty sure most people that watch this, let go. You have to let go of these thoughts that incremental gains is the way, your path. You can be that particle that seems to just disappear and then go off to whatever planet it wants to, right? Without effort. So you don't have to try harder. You don't have to work harder. It's all a matter of believing. You have to believe, right? Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. So, and it's interesting. I was watching this nature show. Here I go at nature, right? There's these penguins on this island. I think they're in close to Antarctica. I was watching my daughter, and there's these penguins that are born on this cliff, and they pretty much spend, I think, 6 months on this cliff because the mom keeps flying all the way back up there to feed them. They sleep there, they don't leave this cliff for like 6 months, and they watch their mom go back and forth to the ocean to get krill and stuff. And the only way for them at one point, the only way for them to survive, they have to jump. They have to have their quantum leap, and they can't fly, by the way. They're not ready to fly yet. They have to jump without physically being able to fly. And their goal is to reach the ocean. If they land on rocks, obviously, that's the end of them, right? But there was this one particular penguin that jumped, and it was like a few feet away from the ocean. It landed on the rocks, right? And this documentary, they showed other penguins that didn't make it, and the fox would eat them, and coyotes would eat them. But this one hit the rocks, and it was one of they called the crown penguin too. It was like the high, they have a hierarchy of penguins, which is interesting. So it was their daughter, right? And she just didn't make it, hit the rocks. And I was like, oh no, my daughter's watching this. This poor penguin just didn't make it. And the miraculous thing, it actually bounced. And it lived. So its feathers and the way it fell, it protected itself instinctively. And they were able to bounce off into the ocean. And what's really powerful as well, the parents fly with the bird as they take their first jump, and they're supporting them. So they're doing something they've never done before, but they know instinctively that they can. And let this kind of be something for you to resonate with as far as your leap of faith, because that's exactly what a quantum leap is. You know you can do it. You know you are it inside. You know that. But you're letting other people and circumstances define your belief about yourself. That penguin knew it. It can make it. And the funny thing, it didn't, but it did, right? So, and lastly, he says here, advancing at a measured pace, step by step from where you are to a little bit better ordinarily feels easier, more natural, and even safer, right? That word. But in certain areas of your life, you can just as easily think in terms of skipping levels. You can move from your present level of achievement to one that is several stages higher directly. Guess what helps you get there? Your imagination. What are you focused on? What you tune into, you turn into. Thoughts become things. We are what we think about. So get very clear on where your quantum leap is going. Get very clear. And you go well beyond your present level of achievement. This is where you make a decision. Stop playing small in the safe zone. It's comfortable. Oh, maybe next year I get 10% more of my income. Or maybe I'll start my business. It's now, right now. And I never knew this. I never knew this. And I'm doing it now. I'm creating my quantum leap. And you're coming with me. So I don't know. Anybody want to add something there?
I just wanted to talk about, because you brought about nature, and I think we talked about this last week after the call, about the elephant that is confined. So we all know how powerful and magnificent a beast an elephant can be and the strength that they have. Yet when they're babies and they're in captivity, they have a chain around their foot that is cemented into the ground. And as that baby elephant knows it wants freedom, it wants to run and explore, etc., that chain keeps him stuck. What if there's 5 feet of chain? And he tries and he tries and he tries. But eventually the elephant gives up. He's now been conditioned. He's been trained. So now as this elephant gets bigger and bigger, they don't need to put that chain that's into the cement into the ground. They just need to put a loose chain around his ankle or something into the grass, not into cement, because he's been conditioned to believe he can only go 5 feet either way. So something that when Bob used to tell us that story, that for me, that vision, knowing how powerful and how beautiful an elephant is. And then actually, we've all probably been to a circus or something like that. And knowing that they've been so trained just to do X, Y, and Z. So it's just, I think for me, a great analogy, a great visual to remind us that we are even more so than that elephant because we have an intellect to create. The elephant can only be an elephant, as mighty and magnificent as it is. And yet the human, man of light, can get to be whatever he or she wants to be. But it's just the limiting beliefs and the conditioning that are chaining us. So I just wanted to share that before we tuned off. And I think it was Aaron who says, yeah, the one question, right, is what do you really want? What would you love to experience? And I think I had this conversation because someone's like, no, it's the why. It's the why that you do. But before you have the why, you have to know the what. So thank you for making that comment here with us. But another great Coach's Corner for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, Alicia, anything?
Sure. It's just a reminder, to summarize, right? You don't have to grow gradually. You can leap directly into a completely new level of performance or achievement. And as the author said at the end of this chapter, that quantum leap strategy can deliver those special dreams and ambitions you instinctively feel should be yours. Mm-hmm. But the breakthrough demands a radical departure from some of your habits. So your limiting beliefs, your paradigms, you need a breakthrough from that. And then you will see all kinds of changes and all kinds of different opportunities for you. Alicia.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about the fear of letting go of the old things and start doing new things. And it made me think about Jack Canfield. I studied with him also, and he said, when you get when you feel the fear of doing something because the beliefs and habits is new thing to do, we say, oh, what the hell, I do it anyway. So to repeat that, you feel the fear and then you say, what the hell, I
What
do
the
it
hell?
anyway.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so to do that and to understand that because it's outside the comfort zone, the fear will always be there because you are growing, you are doing new things, letting things go from the old past you. Yeah.
And it's mind over matter, right? So mind over matter, 4D, imagination, brought
Yeah.
into 3D, into the physical world. So remember that, folks, mind over matter. We go to 4D into the imagination, and then it is reflected here in physical matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. What a session. Listen to all this value here. Great session. It is amazing. Thank you to my awesome colleagues, sharing this beautiful knowledge and, mind over matter, like Lou said. And I do it anyway. I'll do the PG version. Alicia said, and it all leads to contacting us, right? Talking about your next step. Listen to that word. What are you stepping into? That version of you with what you desire, right? You want more. You desire more. And this wasn't an accident that you happened to fall on Coach's Corner today. The universe knows you want more. And, feel free to reach out to any of us to help you with this amazing knowledge because we're continuing with our quantum leaps and our growth as well, personally and professionally as well. And you're not alone. You're not. And I know there's a select few that really want to let go of these limiting beliefs that keep you there, keep you stuck and wishing and hoping for a change. But just like that penguin, jump, you'll make it. Believe that you will. You'll make it. And we're here to support you in every way. We really are. And that's why we've been on Coach's Corner almost 2 years now. Every Sunday, mostly. All right. So next week, well, actually tomorrow, I just want to throw this shameless plug out here that I'm starting a 5-day online challenge. Create your own reality. And, I want to announce it here. For those that are watching on a laptop, feel free to take a shot of this QR code that's up here in my upper, your left, my upper right. So right here, you can use your cell phone or whatever. And also the link is in the comments of this post on this, after this broadcast ends. You'll see a link to be a part of that community. Shout out to everybody that has registered. I am super excited to, dive deep into some amazing things. My colleagues know how important goals are, fear that you'll be facing when you're moving towards different, avenues out of your comfort zone. We're just going to talk about self-image, we're going deep. And I always love to share this knowledge and entertain you and help you feel better leave you better than, you met me. But most important is really expressing who you really are and an achievement. That abundance is our birthright. So starts tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Sign up now. All right. And make sure you join our private WhatsApp group. I'm actually have to check in there because I have something special to give you guys. So anyway, anybody have any announcements? Are we closing here?
I'm good.
I'm done.
Good.
All right. We're all done. Thank you for joining us, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you. See you next week.
And thank you, Aaron, for all the lovely comments and joining us.
Thank you.